farts, old farts, two old farts, Steve and Dave. Sometimes you find a diamond in the rough. Not this time though. This is just rough. Two old farts. There is no better waste of time. Two guys, two old guys. A lot of BS and more drivel than you can shake a stick at. Steve and Dave. God help us.
And we are here, and this is a very exciting show today on the Two Old Farts Classic Entertainment.
Classic.
Noosh couldn't be with us, apparently. Somebody, Guys Helpless Productions, because Noosh can't be with us today. That's not why it's going to be a good show, but Noosh apparently has a ball gag and being tied up and put into a corner because she was a bad girl. But we do have Mistress K with us again because she got such a great reception the first time. We decided to have her back and talk about certain taboos and so what about some. Vicky's got 50,000 sex questions for her, so this will be interesting. Vicky also has balls on her ears because that's where she likes
yeah,
balls.
Merry Christmas.
So, okay, I
have Christmas balls. Naughty or nice, I wore my sweatshirt. So
really, and I wore, just so we're clear, the Creation of Steve, which you can get in our merch store from the painting behind me. And there you go. And if you get the Creation of David, he's in the center. Now, we did tell everybody, David, I don't know if you heard this part of the show, that if you order this and you're a gay guy or a fagula from Key West or from San Francisco, I give you David's phone number. So if you want David's phone number and you want this stud muffin right here to be your Papa Bear, you buy one of these, we'll take care of you.
The stud muffin. Yeah. Well, I have a muffin, but I don't know whether or not it's a stud muffin. But
there you go. So I'm just trying to pimp you out, Dave.
Muffin top. And by the way, which one are we talking to today with Victoria? Are you naughty or are you nice?
I don't. Well,
naughty. We're talking about sex. She's naughty, and you got Mistress K.
Naughty. Yeah,
and we've pre-spoken to Mistress K, and she looks really good today. She's wearing no clothes, just lipstick. So hide the kids. Oh no, that was the last time at the Come As Your Favorite New Pilgrim Party. Never mind. She has clothes on today and lipstick. So there you go. I always get confused.
Yes.
So
well,
we got balls.
I've got lipstick.
And we have balls.
Yeah, and Vicky's got balls. Yeah, there you go.
Well, congratulations.
One of us had to have balls on this panel.
Hey, I tell you what, that's a great name for a show, isn't it? Balls
and lipstick. Mistress K wants to do a monthly show. We should call it Balls and Lipstick.
There you go.
There's the title of Mistress K's new show. I love it. Balls and Lipstick.
Q&A with B&A. Wait, B&L. Q&A with B&L.
And people wonder why we do it. Okay, well, let's bring in Mistress K because we already plugged the merch store.
Yeah, because you have to shut up now, Stephen, because you're being naughty. So you have to bring the lady in.
Bring a lady in. I was going to say something. I'll be nice. So here we go. And here we are. There's Mistress K, everybody. Hello, my dear.
Hello,
here,
Mistress K.
For the people that are on here, we'll give you a solo. There you go. There she is in all of her flesh. Well, no clothes, as promised. So there you go. So last time you were here, we talked a little bit about BDSM and what it means to be a dominatrix. David apparently went to a sex club while he was in Portugal, and he sent video, which we'll publish later as shorts. Because they were pretty short. Vicky apparently now is wearing balls
because
on
I had
her ears.
shorts on when I went.
That's because you had shorts on. That's true. Vicky now has balls on her ears, so everybody's got fakakta crazy. So we figured this time we would ask you questions about certain sexual things or certain behaviors. Vicky has come up with a list of 27 kinks.
I haven't come up with this list.
This
list is from Men's Health. Thank you very much. It's not my list.
Who? Mental health?
Men's Health.
Oh, Men's Health.
Mental Health.
Oh, please. So basically, wait a second. If it came from Men's Health, that means 80% of the guys who are reading Men's Health fagulas, and the other 20% are guys who live in the basement of their mom's house and they're going, stroke it by Billy Squire. Do you understand what I'm saying?
No, but how do you know that unless you're one of that percentage?
I don't read Men's Health. I like to read Cosmopolitan because I like to know how to please a woman. Oh, now let us go to the next step.
This is the special balls and lipstick.
God,
that's what we're calling
Bash the Bishop.
We're calling it something.
Bash the Bishop. The balls and lipstick. Bash the Bishop. Yeah.
Is that a British thing?
Edition. Go and spank that monkey. Go on.
That submission. Oh, jeez.
This is definitely an 18
you
plus
know,
show.
what is this whole? What's this that British thing? What's the tarts and Vickers thing? I never understood
Oh, the tarts.
why.
That's where the
Hey, do you
vicar
know this?
gets
When they have
himself
the
a
tarts and
tart.
Vickers party?
Yeah, that's where a vicar gets a tart.
The crazy thing about that is that because there is also a tradition of men dressing as women. You see it in pantomime. You saw it. Monty Python's did it a lot.
Yep.
So it's also, you can go to a tarts and vicars party where the women will be dressed as vicars and the men will be dressed as tarts. Just whatever. But it's it's what we would call the page 3 culture. We had a newspaper, the Sun newspaper, that had half naked women on page 3 for like.
I remember
forever.
that Samantha Fox was made big headlines back in the 80s.
Yeah, well, she had really big headlines, but the thing about the Sun was, all of a sudden they said, "Oh, I don't think it's very appropriate. I don't think we should be doing that anymore." And the whole of the British public thought, "What?"
Yeah.
So if they all moved across to the Daily Star, which which the only news in the Daily Star is the date and the price, and the rest is half naked women.
Okay, what?
So we have this.
What's this called? One more
So
time?
we.
Daily
Yeah,
Star.
so we have this sort of this whole British thing that all the adult material would be on the top shelf in the newsagent store. So I think tarts and vicars.
You come here.
Yeah, I think tarts and vicars is all part of the sort of the Victorian repression of the British sexuality.
That's a mouthful.
And here endeth the sermon of Vicar Dave today. So
okay,
there we
thank
go.
God. And now for the tarts. Anyway, so when I think tarts, though, I think of the sweet things you put in your mouth. Well, I guess either way could work. Anyway, so I just like that thing. But I'm here till Thursday. Tip your wait staff. Okay, Vicky.
No.
Let's start with Mistress K. Mistress K, thank you once again for joining us. We know you have people tied up in the corner, so we'll try to.
It's okay. They're
Not sure
being
what to say.
punished. You're fine.
That's right. All right. So Vicky are you going to start with balloon
Okay.
play, or where are you going with
Oh,
it?
here
She
we
brought
go.
her
Here
little
we go.
riding crop today. If you're bad, you get a spanking.
A list of 25 sexual kinks and fetishes we know you're curious about.
Okay.
Well,
And she's got a riding crop, Vicky,
Some of
so be
these I've
careful.
heard of. That's for you, Stephen.
For me to use?
Yeah.
All right.
That's going to use on you.
No,
Some of these I've heard of, some of these I haven't. So the first one, I guess this is in alphabetical order. How nice of them. Let's start with A.
It's men's
Well,
health.
it is men's.
I rest my case. Fagel is.
Yeah.
I rest my case. So.
Okay, so the first one is age play. Age play is an umbrella term for a kink that involves someone role-playing at a younger age than they actually are. Think baby, child, or toddler. Oh, I actually have seen this.
Yes.
The diapers and stuff. Okay. Take it away, Mistress K.
What do you guys want to know about it?
Everything. Just assume that the people that are watching know nothing. Because David's taking copious notes because later he has to do something before he goes to bed and takes his pills. So
Got it.
No,
Does that mean he gets to wear a diaper? Is that what it is?
I've been wearing diapers for the last
10 years. I mean, come on.
It's a whole incontinence issue we don't want to talk about.
That's right.
I did at my age they have a more sophisticated name than diaper.
That's right. Adult depends. So.
Yeah, well, I think that's reasonably self-explanatory, that one, I think.
Age play pretty much is, honestly, it just really is a scenario in which someone tends to act like a child and, the dom in this situation takes more of a mommy or a daddy role. And there's, rewards and punishments and, we as the one leading gets to determine what age range is appropriate for you based on maybe habits based on different things like I personally don't do age play, just it's not my cup of tea, but there are scenarios in which a girl, let's say, acts like a little girl where she has stuffed animals everywhere and coloring books and likes to be rewarded with a little juice box. So age play
Is that what
tends
they call
to
it now? A little juice
that's
box,
what they
huh?
call it now.
Well, they do at your
Well,
age, Stephen. Anyway.
well,
There you go.
I have a 5-gallon juice box I'd like to give her. Anyway, go ahead. So
So that's
No,
really
come
what
on,
age
Vic.
play is. And then of course there are like the diapers and it's a lot, honestly, that you have to kind of set in stone before starting, because essentially your submissive gets to be in that mindset, in the child's mindset. So it's it has to be very tastefully done still.
that's too much work.
It is.
Yeah.
It's like,
It is
just the
labor
way she
intensive.
like
Yeah.
just the way she's describing it, I'm thinking to myself, this is just, can you imagine? Like, listen, going to be between the ages of 4 and whatever. Yeah, that's too much work. I'd be like, all right, you're 4 years old, shut the fuck up, sit in the corner. When you turn 21, you can speak, and then we're done. So, so that would be it. So,
So no
but
age
that's
play
just
for
me.
Stephen then. No
Yeah,
age.
No,
and
no.
this is because I love kids. Just saying. So,
Yeah. Right, number 2 then. Come on, let's
Number 2.
move
Well,
on.
it's not number. Okay, it's not number, but we'll keep
Oh,
talking our heads.
okay.
Balloon fetish.
yeah,
Are
what is
you
that?
sexually aroused? This is what I've not heard of. By the look, shape, or feel of balloons. You may be a lunar. Whether you get off on popping, rubbing it, or blowing it up, this is a highly personal fetish. How you interact with the material is up to you.
You think?
Mistress
Keep
K, have
getting.
you had anybody request balloon play?
Honestly, no. No one has ever requested that. So that's a very interesting fetish, honestly.
All right, wait. So all
I
you
guess
guys who
it's
are watching, there you go.
it must be related to, okay, what do they make balloons out of now? I guess it's
Latex,
latex.
probably
Yeah, so it's like
latex.
a latex fetish
Like
somehow.
I would think
Yeah.
so, because I don't know how someone can get off by hearing the pop, or that's just a little scary right there. So
I know.
Yeah.
Oh Lord. Okay, next one. Blood play. I have heard of this one.
Which one?
Blood play refers to the act of using blood during sex. Blah 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 blah. I think it's pretty self-explanatory, but that
Do any
one
of your
I would
people like that?
think would be interesting. It also has to do with like. Does it say it in here? Let's see. Toys. Blah blah blah. Yeah, you kind of have to be careful of that because of things you can catch nowadays.
absolutely.
And yeah.
Like a lawsuit?
Like
Like
Yeah,
a lawsuit?
Yeah, more like a large laundry bill, I think, more than anything else.
Bloodborne
Really.
pathogens.
yes.
Stephen.
Oh.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
you can
it.
use
Hazardous
fake.
Okay.
You can
material.
use fake blood.
Yeah.
That's just use chocolate syrup. It's the same thing.
I mean, you probably could. I mean, it
Could
depends. It depends.
honestly,
Oh,
you
yeah.
could. I have had that request once, and it's not my line of play, but this person did agree that it was okay for me to use, fake blood. They just kind of wanted this murder like scene and
Oh,
it was pretty interesting. It was very messy, very sticky, and honestly something I would never want to do again.
sounds like
You're
every
like,
time I go to
no.
dinner,
So,
messy and sticky. So,
so is the Mistress K, is that then just a whole food related thing then as well? Because people like honey and
yeah.
There are there are
Yeah.
some times where they might request something like that. Most of the time though, when you will notice that when someone is asking for something like that, it tends to be more like a texture fetish. There have been
Yeah.
some people that like honeycomb, for example. They love to play with it. They love that in a scene because it's sticky, the texture. They want me to put it, instead of like a ball gag, they want me to put something there in their mouth and shut them up that way. It's very interesting, trust me.
Okay.
Stephen
Huh.
taking notes.
Huh.
Listen, I got a Christmas party coming up. I gotta come up with games.
Yeah.
So I'm getting a whole
Yeah.
list.
Well,
So there you go.
and a
We're
subset
gonna
of this, it talks about where is it? Menstrual sex. Like
Yeah, we call that
women that
crime
like to
scene
have sex.
sex. That's crime scene sex.
Huh?
That's
Crime
crazy.
scene sex. That's what I call it.
Yeah, I mean I guess that's a subset of this.
Yeah, because basically when
Yeah.
you're with that person and they're having their friendly visit, when their husband's out of town apparently. No, when they're having that friendly visit and you're done, you only do that at a hotel because then it looks like crime scene sex. Because when the poor maid comes in, the whole thing is all bloody and disgusting.
You better
Yeah.
have tipped her. Poor
I know.
thing.
Very.
I did. I
thank
told
you.
her don't bet on any horses with 3 legs, and she's very happy. Yeah. So, no, I give good tips.
Yeah,
My maids love me. They love me when I stay there, and they know me because they get nice tips. They get buku dollars because I know what they have to go
Stephen is
through.
very generous. Then that's very nice.
Yes, I'm generous. I'm generous to a fault.
Okay, so anyway, the next one is
also a pathological lie by the sound. So there you go. We move on.
Pat him on the back some more.
There you go.
Bondage,
Yeah.
which I think is boring.
I'm
Not
just
boring,
hoping
but I mean,
we did
as far
that
as
one.
concerned.
I'm just hoping
We've,
we're going to have some, TOF entertainment, ball gags, so we'll keep him quiet for next week. They'll be in the merch store.
The rope, the Japanese seductive art of bondage in the book of what's the Japanese the red rope
Like Shibari.
Yes, that's an interesting.
I had some
discussion
last
of that.
night for dinner after dessert. I had a little shibari. It was beautiful.
You're confused again.
Okay, sorry. So what is shibari? Tell us about what shibari is.
Shibari, it really just is a very delicate and very intense form of rope play, basically. So it's essentially you're suspending someone, from the ceiling, sometimes a swing, and you just have to really just, tie them up. It's a very interesting art, honestly. It requires a lot of patience, something that I know I don't always have. It's a lot of work, honestly, because, if you are hanging someone from, your ceiling,
Right.
you have to take everything into consideration, their body type. Are they do they like to be, restricted? Do they not? It's very intense, honestly. That one, I would really suggest someone, if they are into that, you have to really find a person who is, great with, with rope and
Specialist.
honestly, with specializes in that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Get a Girl
Yeah, because
Scout.
I've seen it's intricate. It is like art.
It is. It really
performance
is.
art.
But
But I
you
understand
also
that
you also have
part of that
to,
fetish is. Sorry, I understand a part of that fetish is also the patterns that come after the ropes have been released as well, because you get all these sort of indents into your skin and
Rope
everything.
In your
burns
body, and some
Yeah.
bruising can occur, so you always have to make sure the person's okay with that too.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's also not only that, but you also have to make sure that whatever ceiling you're going to hang them or from whatever cross you're going to use or whatever it might be. I might read a book on this once. You have to make sure that
It's called the Bible,
can,
Stephen. It's called the Bible.
it's called Stephen's Bible. That is true. But yeah, you have to make sure they can support their, not just everything, but the weight and what you're going to do to them, because it's not just tying them up. It's everything else that happens after you've restrained them. It's this whole other thing that is. So if you don't have strong beams, so to speak, things fall down. So it's one of those things where you almost have to go to a professional dungeon, and hopefully they know what they're doing, because if they don't, you're kind of screwed. Yeah,
Absolutely.
I said to you last time I looked. By the way, the Yellow Pages is digital. I because I was ridiculed the last time I was on the show, ridiculed, but it's digital. So there you go.
just checking.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I go through this every day. You guys only get this this 1 hour.
Now I'm just sitting here trying to imagine. This is what Dave does to me. It annoys me because he makes me think of stupid things. Like, how do you make a Yellow Page digital? Like, is the page actually digital on the computer? Right. Oh,
yeah.
God.
Well, it's the same data that would be in a
I don't really want an
product.
answer though, Dave. I was just.
Oh my God.
Yeah. You see, the thing is that I was left
gag Dave for next show. I would
love
that.
Let's do that.
So. I think
I was left in a lot. I was left in a lot of pain last time because of the ridicule that I received. So it's just payback time. That's all. I say nothing else.
That's his.
He's mistaking us for people that care.
Next one is breath play, which I've also heard of. Erotic asphyxiation is a dangerous sexual act that eroticizes limited oxygen.
Yes, that is once again always communicate with the person you are doing a scene with. Some people have asthma, some people, feel restricted that way. They will go into a panic attack. I have not experienced any type of bad experience or negative comments from that, but it tends to be, I'll just honestly, either you can sit on their face, shut them up a little bit, that kind of, that can happen. You can have them wear a mask and restrict, their breathing that way as well. But it really just also comes down to, what excites them as far as, that kink. Sometimes it just really is, they kind of feel high, like a good high from it after being, after not being able to breathe for a little bit. So,
That's
but
kind of
like
the choking
I think I
fetish.
mentioned it. Yeah, I think I mentioned it on the first show. For something like that, I definitely must have had to play with this person multiple times to, know what we're getting ourselves into. And I'll give them a paddle. If it starts becoming too much, they can just tap or hit something, and I'll know. Okay, this
Pussies.
means.
Pussies need a password. So the suffocation thing or the asphyxiation, whether it's with a mask or you sit on their face,
Mhm.
and I've had people sit on my, never mind. Anyway, or I didn't suffocate anyway. But it's also choking. I know some girls like that, but it's really interesting because if you choke a girl, and I mean this in a sexual way, not like you're just walking down the street and you're like, you annoy me. But if you do that, they like that, but they don't think, like a lot of them go, I'm not kinky, I'm not into BDSM, but they don't realize that that is a form of it because
It
it's
is a
just not
form of it,
it's a restriction of your breathing, and I
of your
find that
breathing.
fascinating. Yeah,
And
and some of them don't
honestly,
realize it.
when you start losing, obviously, some of that oxygen, really,
Yeah.
and especially in a sexual situation,
Mhm.
honestly, it feels incredible. Honestly,
Yeah.
it really can, because once you're allowed to breathe again and you kind of just gasp for air, honestly, it's a good high. So
Yeah.
something to definitely check out.
Vicky's making some notes for when
Yeah.
she's in Korea
But
because Vicky's taller than all the men there, so she's just going to tell them, "This is what I want. This is what you're going to do,"
I think
and
Mistress
there you go.
K, spirit animal
but
now.
Yeah.
I think it's important, guys, as well to be in a situation with somebody like Mistress K that has it, control over this, because practicing this sort of stuff or just playing around with it, you know, that
Yeah.
there's a lot of there've been a lot of unfortunate accidents that have happened in the past. So
Oh,
I
by the
think that's
ways,
important. Just
yeah.
yeah, that's important to know that. So
Yeah, don't be
seek
stupid.
out that professional.
Yes.
And the other thing is, you also
Absolutely.
have to make sure they're not like whether it's latex play or even the choking or whatever it might be. There was an article, it was in The Economist, because they were talking about men getting divorced during the COVIDs because they couldn't handle their wives and they couldn't go see their mistresses. And part of the article, one of the attorneys said, it's true. One of the attorneys was saying, he said, one of the guys, his client almost died because he had a allergic reaction to, I guess, latex or a ball, whatever they were playing. And it wasn't,
Yes.
it was just his sugar baby, for lack of a better term, or his mistress, I guess. And it was interesting because you really need to ask people, like, especially if you're like a professional like Miss K here, you have to ask a whole bunch of questions before you can go, okay, I'm going to spank you, tie you up, blah, 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 blah. Where, like, if you're just dating someone and you guys are doing it, you're hoping that you know enough about your partner that you know you're not putting them in danger. So it's a very interesting A and B if you look at it on a much, I mean, I know we joke and make fun of it, but it's a much larger scale than just
Yeah.
like, I'm going to choke you, I'm going to do
It's
this, I'm going to do that. And you really have to understand your partner. And if you don't, you're screwed. Whereas, like she says, she meets them and has like a lunch with them. And then it's like sort of like, we're going to do A, B, C before we get to Z. So it really is very difficult.
Oh no, absolutely. Sometimes you don't, even being a professional, you don't know. Some people are not even, they're not very forthcoming about allergies. And, sometimes we need to know these things, especially latex, there are so many things and involved that it can cause a reaction, and then we're both screwed, and that's not fun. So
911. What's your emergency? Well, listen, I was sitting on his face. I put latex on his body and he's blown up like a big pumpkin. I don't know what to do. So, and I said to the priest, I said, then you shouldn't have done that. But anyway, so it's just one of those, wow, it's so true. So, but yeah, you really have to think through this.
Absolutely.
And Mistress K is a very serious professional, but we kind of joke and make fun of it because I think most of the people listening, the Puritans out there, even though our show is global, are still clutching their chest because a lot of them probably have never heard this. They've seen it on porn, but now they're actually like, there's someone actually talking about it. And I think for a lot of them, they're going to like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And it's like, it's okay. Relax. Just make sure you do your research before you actually just decide to go out there and say to your girlfriend or boyfriend, guess what I'm going to do to you tonight? I'm going to put a ball gag on you. I'm going to throw a mask on you. And then
I heard this thing on YouTube and I'm going to do this.
Right. Well, it does get us more fans, and I'm okay with that. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Not
Send your videos.
dying or going to the hospital.
No, nobody dies.
Next one is David's.
Okay.
It's called CBT, cock and ball torture. Maybe that should be
Yeah, she's excited. There you go.
We love it.
Okay, so like penis cages, what are we talking here? Like what?
Penis cages, basically, chastity belt, all of that. Cock rings, honestly, it really is putting that pressure on, on your cock and on your balls. So a lot of the times if they want to, release, some of these devices will actually, restrict them from, and it makes it very painful for them to finish
shoot their
off.
load.
Shoot
their load, I think is what, yeah.
So yes,
who are you?
Yeah, they also said something about this one I have not heard of, which is the penis trampling. I'm assuming that's probably with like heels or something. Like
which one was that? I'm so sorry, I couldn't hear.
Sorry, I talked. Sorry, David, I talked to you too. I'm sorry. It said penis trampling.
Yes. So you can step on their penis and they get that. So you can do that. Yeah.
Now all of Vicky's all of her high school dates this week are going to get their poor penises trampled.
Yes,
Great. So, all right. So I have a question, David. Go ahead and ask what you were going to ask, but then I have a question about the cock and ball torture. But I heard chastity belt, so I'm going to ask a question about that. So, David, go ahead first.
No, it's just interesting about that. You said that it's painful to ejaculate. Is that the pain they want to experience?
Yes.
They want to be brought. Yeah. Okay.
They want that type of pain. Essentially you have to remember, I am the one that gets to control when you do. Yeah. And the fact that you can and you're being restricted, of course, you are going to be in a tremendous amount of pain. And that's your high. That's what you enjoy. Yeah. So
wait, now I have a question. So chastity belts are for the men or for the women?
Both. There are some for both, honestly. Really? And I think we mentioned it. I think we may have talked about it very briefly in the first show where, there are some devices that, I can control, through my phone. Right. If you're a little bit more old school, there's a person that actually holds a key, and we call, the dominatrix or the dom, a key holder, and we hold the key to whatever device we put on you. And obviously that will require that we physically see you to release you from it. So there are different types now, honestly.
Is there a time period? Is there a time period then? Are people doing that on a daily basis, weekly basis, monthly basis?
So it depends, it all depends on what it is that you want to do. There are some that can go all day with it. There are some that I have personally put in this device for a week at least. And, when they are trying to have an erection, it really hurts. Think of it like your penis is in a cage. A metal cage, a special little metal cage. So when
I've been married and divorced.
We're marriage. We understand. We got that. Yeah. We understand what it is. Okay.
It is going to hurt like hell.
Yeah.
So wait a second. So you know when your mom would tell you wear clean underwear because you never know if you're going to get hit by a car. Can you imagine you go to the hospital and they're stripping
With
your clothes off and it's an emergency and they're like, "Excuse me." So that would be very
Oh,
interesting.
but
It's
that
like we've got
happens.
this chastity
But
belt
that
on. I'm sure
I'm
it does.
sure medical professionals everywhere have had
It's
one
in,
of these,
but I
you
will
know.
tell you
oh
that.
Yeah,
yeah,
lots of those
Yeah.
stories.
we have a family friend who works in the X-ray department in a local hospital, and I think they
Mhm.
keep a whole sort of a rogues gallery of objects that have to be surgically removed from different orifices.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Yes, it
I will tell you.
happens. Honestly, it does happen.
Oh my God.
yeah,
I will tell you. I will
yeah,
tell you something
yeah.
interesting about chastity belts, though.
Sorry.
That's just not that I'm a purveyor of them, but I do like to read. So I was reading a book about like the between like 900 CE until like 1500 CE, where the kings, when they would go to war, would put a chastity belt on their property, if you will, their princesses, their mistresses, whatever. And what ended up happening is that they could be gone for whether it was a week or they could be gone for 5 years. So they got a little annoyed with this. So they would go to the blacksmith and whatever favors they had to pay the blacksmith would put a secret latch in there that they could take the chastity belt off. They'd have a button that they can push. So while your owner, lack of a better term, is out there, and conquering a country, and you have the urge, all you have to do is push the little button. Your chastity belt came off. You go bada bing, bada boom, and you put your chastity belt back on. And apparently, then it was God intervened and you got pregnant. So yeah, so it was very interesting when I was reading that, and like the Kings never really figured it out, and by the time they did, it was too late. So yeah, so I'm
Yeah.
assuming these chastity belts that you're using don't have little buttons or triggers, right? So if there's an emergency, they have to find you and get the key.
Yeah, so that's why for in order to do that, I
Yeah,
definitely suggest it's better just face to face, just
right, right.
because, if it's a digital one, I could probably be busy, with someone else, and this poor person really needs this device off. So it's just better to
I'd
do
be
it
like,
in
you didn't
person.
say please enough. I'm sorry, what did you say, please? I can't hear you. Oh, I'm going through a tunnel now. We have very bad reception. So yeah,
I
that's
know.
awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Vicky,
It also says that erotic electro stimulation is also falls under this kink.
are you
So
talking
I
about
guess
putting
we're
things to the
zapping their
balls?
balls or something, I'm
Yeah.
guessing.
Yeah, like you can zap them. Basically, there are, little devices that just kind of shocks them.
Sorry, you can
Electroplay,
zap them.
you
Did
can
you,
zap.
did you say?
Yeah, you
David's
can
all like,
just
"Huh?"
like, honestly,
Okay.
I don't, I like any type of electroplay. I would definitely be very careful with, a lot of, especially once again, if you don't know your partner nowadays, the least expected person has a piercing somewhere there, or
Oh,
it's, you
Yeah.
just don't want to
right.
do any of that without knowing, because then that'll
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
very, very
Or David
painful.
has his
Like
pacemaker and you could, shock
yeah.
the
Exactly, just
Well,
shock the head.
I'm just more concerned about somebody tasering my cock ring, to be honest. But there you go.
It's like a car
You do live in
battery.
Holland. I mean, you should be
Charge
surprised.
stuff. Oh my God. All right. That's just what else you got,
Okay.
Vicky?
I know.
Okay, next one. Let's see.
This is a serious
Clothed
show,
female
ladies.
naked male. The
One more time.
CFNM acronym stands for clothed female naked male, which basically sums up the straightforward nature of the fetish. It's the dom is wearing clothes and wields her sexual power over a naked man. That's pretty
Pretty
Once again, that's
self-explanatory.
marriage. We got that. Yeah. All right. So,
Yeah. A
Yeah. What?
cuckolding kink where someone cheats. Okay, so basically cuckolding is a kink or fetish where a guy gets hot, bothered, and humiliated by his spouse or partner getting it on with someone else.
Yes.
Again, marriage.
Again.
but wait. So, do you have any clients that do that or no?
There are a few, honestly, but not really. I think it falls more like when they have um what kind of kink would I say? Probably like a degradation, like degradation kink,
Okay.
because
Mhm.
they like the humiliation, they like to be beaten, they like to be tortured in public. Not really someone being there while maybe I'm doing something with them. That doesn't really happen, and we don't really allow for that, honestly.
Gotcha.
It
So
seems more like it's a porn subset
Yeah,
or
it's a
something,
very,
right?
it sounds very, it's a more
it's you know what they
Yeah.
know.
kind
You
of
know what they
fetish,
call it
yeah.
now instead of cockhold, if you will. They call it hot wife. So a
Okay.
buddy of mine,
Mm.
and I were talking, and he said, I saw this thing, and he was telling me, and he says it says she's a hot wife, and he said I had to look it up, and he said I thought she was just pretty, and he said so a hot wife is, if you will, the new term for the cockhold. So it's the hot
I
wife
Okay.
did
is
not
like
know
I'm a
that.
hot wife,
Okay.
I can go
Yeah.
on dates and do and blah 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 blah, and my husband wants me to watch me have a good time. I'm thinking to myself, no, like there's no, I could really like
That's
if
a
we're all
real,
at
that'd be
dinner
a
and
real punishment, wouldn't it? I mean,
yeah, really, not
I,
even that. It's just like,
is
but
it?
then
Is
after,
the
it's
window?
like who
Is the
pays?
window cleaner here again? I mean, come on,
Yeah, right.
guys.
I'd be like, yeah, but then really, I mean, and being Jewish, I'm like, who's paying for dinner? I mean, like, there's a whole thing here. Like, how does
Yeah.
this work? It's too much work for me. So yeah, but I think the new term now is called hot wife. Yes.
Hot wife.
Okay, so we
Okay.
Yeah.
learned
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
We
Not to
did.
be confused with Hot Wheels. If you go to the so
Oh,
there
I
you go.
love Hot Wheels. When I was a kid, I had the little dune buggy car. Oh, it was a beauty. I think, oh, yeah. Oh, never mind. It had a
Yeah,
track.
there you go.
So, what else you got, Vicky?
Okay. Anyway, next one. Okay, this is in alphabetical order, so a lot of this stuff we've already talked about. This D is for dominance and submission, which is
Yes.
basically all we've talked about. Anyway, E is erotic electrostimulation, which we just also talked about.
Mhm.
Nothing under there that's
Yeah,
different.
just go. Let's go random. Just choose a random one.
Exhibitionism. That's a good one.
Exhibitionism.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you have any
So
clients that do that,
there are, yes. So there are some that
okay.
want to be also, kind of publicly humiliated. You kind of walk them
Okay.
on a leash, you beat them a little bit.
Hey, bring them on the show.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll
Actually,
see if
just so
they
you know,
let
that was
themselves.
Nurse's one question she wanted me to ask. Was she
Okay.
said, "Can Mistress K demonstrate all this on one of the shows?" And I was like, "I will ask." I said, "But I think that requires her to have a person that is
Yeah.
willing to
Willing
let her
to,
do that on the
yes.
show." I said, "So I think it's a little more involved than just giving someone a spanking."
A
So
little
yeah,
more,
yeah,
but I mean, it does not hurt to ask
that's right.
these
Well, plus, I mean,
steps.
Mistress K has her page. If you want to go
Yes, if you want to,
OnlyFans,
they can definitely,
pay the
request.
lady for
Request.
For her
right,
time, sure.
exactly,
And we'll post it again
exactly.
down here below so you can go to Mistress K's
Yeah.
page. Hopefully last time you picked up one or two clients or
I
not.
did. It was
Yeah.
great. Actually, I
Yeah.
did have it. It went. There were definitely a lot of questions, so I am
Okay.
still open to that. So that was good. They kind of
Hopefully,
got
we're
a
answering some now, so you won't get
right.
that as
Yeah,
much.
you got a very
They're all
in-depth Q&A out of me, so it was good.
very cool. Well, that's nice. At least we're helping her get clients. I
Oh,
think that's a good
thank
thing.
you
I don't know.
guys.
I have
It
no
is a
Yeah.
idea. So,
great thing.
so now, do you take female
Another.
clients or are you just strictly male?
No, I take female clients as well.
Okay, so here's a stupid question just on my part. So, what's your percentage of male to female?
Ugh. It's honestly females very low. Women tend to
Okay.
be, still a little bit shy about these things.
Okay.
So it's really great to it. I almost think that one of the subscribers was female because of the line of questioning, but it's good, it's good to educate and, show them that, certain things, they should be a little bit more open-minded
Right.
too. But
Yeah.
women, honestly, actual clients, I can say I probably have about 5, but very
Okay.
solid clients that I've known for quite some time.
Gotcha.
And do they all have Do they all
Hold on
have
1 second, guys. I'll be
similar
right back.
sort of needs?
A little bit, honestly, yes. These
Yeah.
women have very powerful positions, so they're also very dominant women in, their professional lives. So it feels
Yeah.
nice, to kind of have, let go of some of that control and kind of have someone, talk you through certain scenes and just give up that control, honestly. So it's always really nice.
Interesting. I always kind of wondered if that was the case, and it's interesting to have someone actually confirm that people that are very high powered or type A or whatever are the ones that want to give that control up to a certain person the most.
Absolutely. Honestly, I think I think you, Vicky, were the one that asked me about this last time, like what my clients look like. And honestly, I have everything. There are attorneys, there are doctors, there are, believe it or not, I've had a judge or two as well. And it's people.
I do believe that. I've seen
and
Monty Python. I know they're
you
wearing their bras
it
under
is
their
true,
robes.
it is true that, people in these powerful positions, they are making decisions, very, strong decisions every day in their everyday life. They just need to just let go. And that's where I come into, into play, where they trust me enough to understand that, okay, whatever it is that we do, obviously it's extremely private. It doesn't leave the room, and they are allowed to be themselves and have these kinks without someone thinking you're weird or really that's what you like. And I've said it, if there is something that they like that maybe I don't do, I don't mind guiding them to someone else who does. It is about, at the end of the day, getting what it is that you want and feeling satisfied and feeling fulfilled, even as a submissive. That really is the mentality that through your service you are being fulfilled. So yeah.
Oh,
I
love that.
Do you think it really
Okay,
is?
next one. Yes,
What
David?
is
I was
that?
going to say, Mrs. J, do you think it really is as simple as that? Is that I make all the decisions, and that weighs down so heavily on me that now I feel I just need to let go?
I think that most people want that. They just don't know how to say it. And especially, men, men are taught from very, very early age that, men have to be strong. Men have to be emotionally
Yeah.
strong, physically strong, mentally strong. And to find a woman who will kind of take that over. I mean, there have been some clashes. Don't think that every interaction starts off smoothly, because it also tends, people's pride and ego get in the way. And as long as they're willing to let go and trust someone else, honestly, it really can be a great dynamic. But you have to be open-minded to let go, honestly.
There's a psychological term for it called decision fatigue.
Yes.
I mean, it's probably not at that level, but people like Steve Jobs, the reason why they would wear black all the time is because they make so many decisions during the day. They didn't want to wake up in the morning and have to decide what to wear,
Exactly.
or decide so would eat the same thing every day, or
exactly. And
Yeah,
that's
it's
basically
called
what
autism,
this,
I think. But
with this.
that too, David. David's like, ding, right up my alley. Okay, next one is foot fetish, which we've kind of
touched on, but it really just is, someone who is infatuated with feet and being touched by feet and worshiping feet. So
why do you think it's feet? Why is it feet that's so interesting to us as
honestly,
humans?
I really want to think that it's just an area of, like, it's a body part that, yes, we're on our feet all day, but it's an area that doesn't often get pampered enough, I want to say. So there are men who just see a pretty feet with a pretty nail polish on, and that attracts them.
That's it.
So they just kind of want to, I mean, come on, men have tried sticking things in in questionable places, situations, and holes. So,
I think feet are really interesting because they can be as ugly as they can be beautiful. But
I was gonna say I have ugly ass feet. I wouldn't. That would not be my alley.
I think it may well be something quite as basic as smell, and I mean that in the nicest possible way.
No,
There is
and believe me that, yeah, I mean, it can be smell, how they feel, everything. Honestly, there are some men that it- get off from a sweaty sock or panties, really, like, there, that is the request, like sweaty panties, sweaty socks. And it's a thing. It's just their kink. It's, I guess, what really gets them going. So
So you have to keep keep a stock of all the above then?
I kind
This
of
is
do
my,
sometimes.
Going to the gym. I need to replenish.
Yeah. Believe it or not, they will. Like, they'll actually send requests like, can you please make sure, you wore them all day, and can you sweat in them? And it happens. Trust me. It's very
I've heard in
interesting.
Japan, I have not seen it. I've only been to Japan once, but I've heard that they have vending machines with women's panties, used panties in them that guys can go and buy and take home.
My God, what am I doing then? I should just start that.
Mistress K, you gotta like go buy an old Coca-Cola machine and just convert that sucker and put it down on Sunset and Vine and like see what you make.
yeah.
Exactly.
Well, there are people.
I pick up
There
on.
are ladies, of course, I think on OnlyFans that sell their underwear.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there are great websites. There's one, Feet Finder, for example, and if you have a really, really, hard foot fetish, that's a great website to go to. There are websites too where there are women that will sell you their panties, that will sell you just about anything they've worn, and you could just place a bet and get it shipped out to you. It's very interesting.
There you go.
And Nikki taking notes.
Side hustle, here we come.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean,
you
just think about it. If you paid like $5 for your underwear, and somebody's paying you $50, I mean, you never run out of underwear. What are you going to?
That's a profit.
Absolutely, that is.
Yeah, buy the cheap ones.
Exactly.
Okay, the next one is hirsute fetish, which is about hair. If you're asked by women who take an au naturel approach and they don't shave or whatever, I guess there's shaving and braiding and all that kind of stuff involved. So take it away.
I am not going to lie to you. This is the first I hear about that fetish.
Me too.
That is,
like,
you are teaching.
Yeah.
Was
braiding the armpit hair, maybe, or
as long as you're not braiding, as long as you're not braiding the hair under your armpits, that's all right.
So great.
Okay.
No Shave November has its own thing, huh?
That's right. November. Well, it says like armpit and pubic hair, Dave. So I'm guessing there is some armpit stuff going on there.
Yeah.
Ooh, armpit fetish. I wonder if that's a thing. Okay.
It is.
2021
definitely.
YouGov body image study showed that 35% of Americans prefer if women shave, while 7% said they should not shave. Wait, 35% and 7%. What's going on with the other 65%?
Those percentages are way off.
That doesn't make any sense. Okay.
They're agnostic. They don't care either way.
They're naturally hairless?
Right?
I think they're just happy to to have sex. Really, they don't care how it comes.
Yeah, they don't ask the question. What about like facial hair?
Oh,
for men, or like if women are attracted to men that have facial hair or something. Or
that's interesting. I'll definitely have to pull some strings and see who in our circle.
Let us know what you find out. Okay,
I will for this one.
Steven's not here, but here's hot wifing. I didn't even, that made the list, so we already know what that is. Humiliation, we kind of talked about that. Okay, here's another one. Impact play. If the thought of striking your partner with a hand, toy, or object for extreme gratification seems extreme, it doesn't have to be. I'm guessing this is spanking. The power of exchange extends far beyond spanking. Oh, never mind. The idea is to strike safe erogenous zones that trigger an endorphin high, but it's not all about pain, but it can be.
Yes.
And she's got her crop.
I do. I have a little whip here. So this one's
whip.
a little bit of a whip, and then I do have the writing crop. So impact play, same thing, don't think that you can just start off caning someone. That's another device. And, for the viewers, look it up. But I would not trust someone just, going in, full force with one of those. I definitely think, start small, start with, a little paddle, a little spank. But impact play, you have to be very mindful of the person's body too. Once again, some of these things can cause bruising, can even cause permanent marks. So you can't do this, at just full force. You really have to take your time and get to know your partner, get to know, what their pain tolerance is like, what is your safe word. So always keeping safety in mind. But yes, paddles, I've had even wooden spoons, I've had, clamps, all these things, just
no, it makes me laugh because my German mother would spank us with a wooden spoon because
Vicky, were you
She
excited
don't
as
use
a
her hand.
child by that?
And my brother was so bad. Oh God, I shouldn't say this. Never mind. I'm going to out my brother. He was so bad. He used to get hit with the metal spoon because
Oh,
his spoon was not enough to make him behave.
oh, we
Yes,
are just
German.
unlocking these fetishes now. Okay, we
Now
love
we know
it.
why, Mistress K. It's all
But
making
this
sense now.
It is all making sense now.
Oh,
this
so
being hit by objects and metal or wood or whatever. In any is it just in the erogenous zones or would it be anywhere that people get off on it?
No, it could be, anywhere. Once again, they have to let you know what it is that they like. Some people
Yeah.
like, the spanking. Some, believe it or not, something with their arms might, get them off, their back, maybe their legs. So you just always have to know what areas they would like you to focus on as well. So,
Yeah.
mhm.
And do
interesting.
people also get off then on the marking? Do some people want to be marked, physically
Some
marked?
people do. Some people do want to be marked. Some people find that, a bruise or, one of those little marks, is very significant to them. So it all just depends on the person, really. It always
Yeah.
is a case by case. Yeah. There are some that,
Yeah.
will ask you to play, lightly because, their job requires them to show some skin. So, you can't show up, with
Right.
these bruises, and that's also
Underwear
not
model
fun.
shows up like, what the hell
Exactly.
happened to
Yeah.
you?
Right? So yeah, we
It's
also
like
have to be mindful.
everybody knows in the office. Oh, you've been to see Mistress K again, have you?
Yeah,
Oh, okay, yeah,
exactly.
great. Yeah. That's what an extended lunchtime was about.
I'll just leave my little love marks on them. But no, honestly, it's you have to be careful. You have to be mindful of that. Yes.
Okay. This one I did not. Okay, I'm going to say this wrong. It's KNISMOLAGNIA. Nismolania?
Okay.
Nismolania is a fetish where people derive sexual pleasure from the sensation of being tickled. Tickling others or simply watching someone get tickled.
Yes.
It's basically a fancy term for arousal by tickling.
Yes. I have had a few sessions. So my sessions also, I think, first show, some sessions can be as light as tickling and they get off on that, like whether it's their armpits or whether it's like groin or their back, and they just get a really good high off of that. Yeah, honestly, it happens. It has happened
It sounds
where
so cute.
it kind of is. Then for that, we'd use like maybe like a little feather duster or something, to just cause that, that tickle sensation there. But it's very
Aww.
interesting. Yeah, it can be light, and people think that this isn't a fetish. It really very much is. Yeah. That
But if that's not like sort of an introduction to something heavier, then you don't sort of wean them into it.
I mean, it can be, we
Yeah.
can start off by tickling and it can end up, with you being ball gagged. So, I mean, it can take
Now
many
David's taking notes.
directions. Exactly. Dave's taking notes.
He's
Dave's
like,
taking
now I
notes.
know what to do with
I'll
that feather
taking notes.
duster. Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah.
But now I'd have to be like Swiffer. Like
Yeah.
Swiffering
Just like a
you.
little
Yeah. Yeah. So there won't be a shop in the US now where you can buy a swisher because everybody wants
right,
one
I
now.
know.
So
I would just be like endorsed by Mistress K. So.
Oh, we need to get her her own line of stuff. We'll talk
Yeah.
merch. Okay.
yeah.
Next thing. Latex fetish we kind of talked about
Yes.
already. Do you want to talk about that anymore, Mrs. K?
Not really. I mean, if anyone has deeper questions, but it really just is the touch, the sensation of latex, being, playing with it, being maybe, in a latex suit for my submissive, all that's really what it falls under.
Okay.
Yeah. Not too much.
Masochism, which we've talked about before, but it's the M in BDSM if people don't know. And that's the kink that centers on pain. In a 2017 survey, gosh, this is old, found that 10% of respondents were somewhat or very interested in exploring pain in the bedroom.
Yes. So it really just comes down to what we do as well. We induce a certain amount of pain and they love it. Sometimes it can be very brutal depending on the person, depending on their dominatrix, depending on, what kind of play and scenario they're doing. But it, doesn't necessarily mean it has to be too severe either.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then orgasm control, otherwise known as edging or peaking, which we talked about with the penis.
We've talked about
the
that.
penis
Yes.
cage, but yeah, what else? Let's see. What else does it say? Anything about
No, it just basically
stop,
is, me controlling your orgasm. It is you getting so close to, and then I can deny you. I can say, you know what? No, cut that right now, immediately. You don't get that gratification. So I get to say when, I get to say how even. There are some clients that really, need it. And, it kind of comes with the desperation play I kind of talked about first show. Where they are so desperate to, to basically offload. And I can very well deny them. I can say, you know what, you haven't served me well enough. You have not been behaving or followed your rules. So no. And I think both kind of go just hand in hand. So we love it.
Yeah. I mean, that's
So yeah,
Dave's very quiet.
edging
That's my
is
wheelhouse.
very
Yeah, we talked about
common.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our brains are wired. Interesting. Okay, pantyhose fetish. People, usually men, drawn to this fetish experience sexual excitement by wearing pantyhose, admiring those who wear pantyhose, or sometimes a combination of sight and tactile sensation.
Almost like you would, like a latex fetish, but pantyhose feel different. Some are very silky, some feel even almost like a grainy texture. So it could be that as well that they like. And sometimes it goes with, their mistress, wearing the pantyhose and they just want to smell it and touch it and feel it. So that actually is common as well. A very, very common fetish and request that we get.
I see that in I shouldn't I'm getting myself in trouble now, but I do see that a lot in a lot of porn. They have this sort of where they like to tear it open. Like the women still wear it, but it's like a tearing open kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And like
Especially in
sometimes
Japanese.
even very Japanese porn. Not that
Sorry.
we would know these
Can you
things.
tell where I hang out?
No, or sometimes even like, having, seeing someone put them on, even that, can arouse, a person, and that's also falls within the kink. So.
And we know that David's wearing it to his Tarts and Vickers party. So
yes, he is.
Indeed. Well, I was just thinking that we're coming up to the hour, so we'd probably have to sort of wind things up today. And it would, just in time.
There he is.
Don't listen. I heard everything except I have some chattel that hasn't been behaving. So until their attitude changes, the beatings are continuing. So I have to beat them.
Got it.
That's what happens. So there you
Allowed.
go. Well, thank you so much. I heard everything you guys said. So yeah, and she'll come back next month, and we'll figure out.
Yeah,
and then you guys got some more questions.
Out the rest of the list.
There you go.
Nikki. Those were really great, honestly. So we love.
I mean, we covered
magazine.
pretty much everything except wax play was the only thing that was left that we hadn't talked about. Really,
candles.
We'll touch more.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, listen, thank you so much for your time. It was always fun to have you here because I think everyone gets to learn and do things. So
it was so much fun that Stephen left for half the show. So there you go.
I heard all of it in my ears. So sometimes you just have to take care of business. You know what it is. So it's the way it works. So
thank you again. You were so lovely. It was fun. We'll see you.
Love being here with you guys. I hope to
see you in 2024. Thank you for your
more questions.
Yeah, we'll see you in 2024.
Sounds good.
So that's it really for today. Everybody enjoy the holiday period coming up, and
yes,
Happy New Year.
Yeah. Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy, healthy, everybody. We'll see y'all next. Well, she'll see you next year. We'll see you tomorrow.
Oh, sounds good.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
David.